All right. Instructors, facilitators, this game is called Last Letter, First Letter. The most important thing is to really focus on how you set up the game, because it's a game about listening. So it would be kind of ironic if we rushed this and then the person didn't hear what you were trying to say. You'll have one person come up, and then you will pair off into twos afterwards, like we've done with many of our other games. So we're going to set up, play, observe, and tie back. Last letter, first letter. All right, you guys, this game's called Last Letter, First Letter, and the title kind of says it all. The way this game is going to be played, and actually, Robbie, in a moment, I'll have you come up, but I want you to be aware that you'll be my volunteer. But I want everyone to listen. Last Letter, First Letter is about listening. So I hear so often, how do you remember people's names? Or even like, I can't always remember what I was going to say. And you can't do a seminar for an hour and a half on listening to improve people's listening. I want to say that really clearly. I've often heard speakers talk for an hour and a half with no Q&A about the importance of listening, and they get no feedback. And the seminar ends, and I don't think anyone leaves going, wow, I really improved my listening by listening for an hour and a half to a speaker about listening. You need to do it, and this exercise will do just that. So, Robbie, why don't you come up, and I'll continue to set up the game. Celebrate her. Good to see you. Robbie, this game is going to be a scene between you and me. We are going to focus on the rules of improvisation, which are two. We must agree with each other and take care of each other. That second one, never lose, or else it's off kilter. Agree with each other. So if I say, Robbie, I understand that you built these lights, then?
Yes, I did.
You hear that? That was great. Here's the level up to this game. Instead of telling you to listen more, I'm going to challenge both of us to listen more by doing this. When I finish, the first time I talk, when I finish my statement and what I'm going to say, you must start your sentence with the letter that I finished with. For example, if I were to talk, and I can talk more than one sentence, if I'm talking for a little while, and then I finish that statement with, I'm really glad we're in this room, what word would you start with?
Room.
You would start with what letter?
O-M.
You got it. And it's very clear, instructors, that the participant tells you the letter they heard so they know it's the last letter. This game is called Last Letter, First Letter. So then you'd start your conversation with a word that starts with M. One other rule, don't finish your statement by saying, get me a Kleenex. There's not many X words. That would tell me that you're trying to punk me, and that's not nice. So stop it, because I'd have to come up with like Xanadu or xylophone. So if someone does do this and they finish with Kleenex, that tells you where they're at. It doesn't mean they're a horrible person. It means they're so nervous that they want to punk you to feel safe. We're not looking for that. Watch, audience, what it does to Robbie and me when we do a scene where we're not focusing on funny, we're not focusing on objectives, we're focusing on last letter, first letter. Cool? Don't fight for the funny, just enjoy it.
Okay.
Good. You ready?
Yes.
Awesome. And I'll begin. Action. Officer, I want to first thank you for coming so quickly to the house. The situation is that my wife and I have smelled some smoke in the kitchen, and we would hope that you could check it out.
To do that, I'm gonna need to first go in the house and see exactly what you're talking about. Maybe it came from the microwave or the oven or the toaster.
Right. The only problem with that, officer, is the toaster burned down a month ago. So we're good there, but I love the idea of going down the checklist. You are really good at what you do.
Oh my goodness, thank you. See, I've had a lot of practice in this type of field, coming to houses, for strange smells. Maybe next, let's check the trash can.
No way, I didn't even think about that. You're so good, that's why I'm not an officer and you are. The trash can is where my wife and I have a tendency to put all of our stuff from the fireplace.
Even though that sounds like a great idea, I think taking it straight to a dumpster from the fireplace would be a better idea.
Absolutely. That is brilliant. And I'm going to tell my wife to do that, and then we'll avoid having smoke in the house, and then we will be a happier family.
Yes!
Freeze! You are so good. So good. Let's give some verbal validation to Robbie because she earned this. I will start, and I need you to give feedback. Robbie, I can see your athletic side in you. You played golf, as you told us. Can you see that desire to get it right in the fairway? Can you see that? And take that as a gift, but also no, stop being so hard on yourself. Really smart. All in. Actually, it's funny. You're already a very good listener. I think the hard part for you is you get upset when you mess up. You're extremely good caretaker. You have an older sibling dynamic to you. You're a caretaker. So I saw that a lot. What are there some simple feedback observations you can give to Robbie before we pair off into twos? Go for it. Caleb.
Even in the middle of danger, you make people feel safe.
Yeah. I love that also Robbie took on the firefighter role and she owned it. What else?
Yes, I just like how she kept it clean.
Yeah.
I think that's always something worth acknowledging because it's so easy to take something where you're trying to be creative and then just to go into left field with it.
Twist it.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, God gave us an edit button for a reason. You with me? Cool. So here's what I want to do now. I want you all to pair off into twos. Robbie, you'll be with me and observe. You pair off into twos, and I want you to just have a conversation. You can just start by just setting up like, hey, how you doing? And then you got to start with the letter G. And I want you to see what it does to you and your body and your whole interaction when you are focusing not on how to trump the person, how to validate everything the person's saying with a better idea, but simply listening to them finish. Got it? So let's go ahead and spend 60 seconds. We're going to pair off into twos. There won't be a rotation. You just have a conversation. Last letter, first letter. Don't Kleenex anyone. Make sense now? Don't Kleenex me because then I got to go with Xanadu or Xylophone or Xerox. That's the only three words I know that start with X. And begin. And scene. Shake your partner's hand. Good job. Good job. Hey, give Robbie a hand. Good job. Well done. You know, as I watched you, there's something empowering about being listened to. It's funny, you actually all started laughing at the end of the scene. There was really nothing that funny about it. But there's laughter's not just, did you hear the one about? Laughter can just be like, that was a cool exchange. Laughter can be through nerves. Laughter can be through joy. Laughter can be through just, man, that was fun to exchange with you. But we can't say, you got to listen more. Or the one I hear all the time, listen up. That's a forced listen up. But if you want to get someone's heart, you got to just think about the idea of letting them get to the last word. And the way you do that in this game is you play it as a game. So I'm not asking you in the real life to truly play last letter, first letter. Don't do that, would jam people up. Don't go to your spouse and she's like, or he's like, hey, I'm glad we're in the kitchen. You're like, no way, it's good to see you, because they'll pick it up and then it's not good for the marriage. But the idea of last letter, first letter, I want you to bring to business meetings. I want you to bring to presentations. Because what you'll find is two things. You'll hear a lot more and you'll talk a lot less. Because if you hear a lot more, you may have your question answered. And then you don't have to talk so much. And those meetings can go from an hour to 45. You know what we love to do? Get these meetings at high level, high stakes to 30 minutes because time is money. So that is what we're trying to do with last letter, first letter. And the last thing I want to share, last letter, first letter, is did you notice with Robbie and me, we were completely locked in with each other? I didn't go into a bit over here and go to some fake fridge, and we were like staring at each other. Why? I needed her because I couldn't go without her, and you can't go without me. Cool? So now we're going to take last letter, first letter of the concept, and we're going to figure out that tie back so we can improve. Hey, celebrate Robbie again. It's a hard one. Good job. Really good job. Totally locked in. There's also a puzzle solving component to last letter, first letter, which we love. It's a game dynamic where you get an R and then the person steps up with really. It's kind of like there's this resolve, and the audience, you're like, oh, you got it. And that's why it's a fun exercise. We must work on our listening muscle, not just talk about our listening muscle. The tie back to last letter, first letter is actually kind of twofold. Let them finish and finish strong. Let them finish and finish strong. In that order. So let them finish. Let's think about the first component. Let them finish. If you're thinking about last letter, first letter, and Wally, you and I are talking, and I have great ideas, but I need to chill, I'm just going to listen to that last letter, and that'll just chill me down and honor you, and I won't go to my cell phone, and I won't give you this, right? Especially if you're higher ranking than me, that would be very disrespectful. So that's the first part of it. The second part is, then, Robbie, what I noticed when you were playing last letter, first letter, and I wonder if you noticed, you were very intentional about getting to the end of your sentence because you wanted me to get the word and get the letter. So we need to finish strong. Let them finish and then finish strong. Folks, when we're sharing our ideas, you don't need to stand up on a chair and scream and yell and beat your chest. But what we need to do is go from, anyway, I was thinking about maybe for the corporate retreat, we can kind of do sort of purple balloons. I don't know. You're not finishing strong. We're going off the cliff. What we need to do is go, I'm thinking for the retreat, when we get the team together, we're going to get those purple balloons, and that'll be our theme. And you notice now I'm going to the end of the sentence with theme, so you can hear the E. So let them finish strong, and that way we'll listen better, and we'll also share our voice, not with arrogance, but with intention and with confidence. Don't talk about listening. Do an exercise that improves your listening. Cool? And that is last letter, first letter.